Chairman Rouser, Ranking Members Napolitano and Larson, thank you for providing me the opportunity to participate in today's hearing. I'm here today to discuss critical water resources impacting Central Washington, which I believe should be addressed in the Water Resources Development Act of 2024. The policies, studies, and projects authorized by WRDA and executed by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers affect the daily life of my neighbors and constituents in Central Washington. This includes locks and dams that enable navigation and boost recreation, hydropower facilities that generate clean, reliable, and efficient power, and levees that reduce the impact of storms on our communities. Today I'm going to discuss urban canals of concern, the Othello Water Supply Project and the Lower Snake River Dams. Back in November, I introduced the Urban Canal Modernization Act. If enacted, this legislation would allow the Bureau of Reclamation to authorize a 35% non-reimbursable cost share to aid in repairing and rehabilitating urban canals of concern, which are canals that run through urban areas that could, upon failure, cause significant property damage or loss of life. The arduous task of maintaining and modernizing our outdated urban canal systems is necessary for the safety of our local communities. I urge the committee to include the language from this bill within WRDA. Turning to the Othello Water Supply Project, in Central Washington, there's an increasing demand for water with a corresponding limited supply. To address this issue, we must diversify our water supply to alleviate environmental challenges and stabilize water supplies that are vulnerable to drought. The Othello Water Supply Project will do this by creating an aquifer storage and recovery water treatment plant aimed at conveying water underground, storing it, and then recovering it for conventional use. I respectfully request the committee support the authorization of new resources necessary for the development of this project to ensure Central Washington has a reliable, long-term, clean water supply. And lastly, most importantly, I want to turn to the Columbia River System Operations, or the CRSO, and the Lower Snake River Dams. Over the last several years, the Biden administration, alongside dam breaching advocates and several indigenous sovereign nations, have engaged in litigation and mediation over the CRSO. In December of 2023, this culminated in a final package of actions and commitments from the administration, which, if implemented, will, in my opinion, operationally and functionally breach the Lower Snake River dams, spur exorbitant ratepayer increases, and cause harm to the salmon population. The overall CRSO, and especially the Lower Snake River dams, provide immeasurable benefits to millions of Americans across the Pacific Northwest, providing flood control and irrigation, transportation of agricultural goods to our ports, baseload renewable power, and much more. Recreationists, farmers, river-dependent ports and communities, transportation stakeholders, and electricity customers would be irreparably damaged if the Lower Snake River dams are breached. As such, I staunchly oppose the inclusion of any language in WRDA which would operationally or physically breach the Lower Snake River dams, as well as any aid for federal agencies in implementing the Columbia Basin Restorative Initiative. In the coming days, I will be submitting my formal request to the committee, and as you craft the base text for this legislation in the months ahead, I encourage you to take these vital interests into consideration. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back.